No one knows. Every one of us here can have a different theory, and we'll probably all have an equal chance of being what it really was. Basically, all of our theories on this stuff tells more about our culture generation than theirs, probably. Who knows what they were doing on that? Were they counting? Was it a ritual? Was it a calendar? But it's pretty neat. There are, I think, some of the best rock art up here. Look at the intricate art here. Look at that antelope and the horns. You have to get closer, but look at the little flying bird or whatever here. Look at this here. That leash down to, it's so small. They had to have used something really sharp, maybe the tip of a yucca plant or something to draw that. I also noticed these dots going all the way up. And what was the purpose? And they go all the way up the wall into. Notice the heads are pecked out, and their faces, and sometimes the feet, and that's very common. In following cultures, or Native Americans come through here years later, and they peck out the previous generation or culture's eyes and heads in that. It's not uncommon around the whole world to have that pecking done. It was not done when it was originally painted, but it's also not done by vandals. It was intended to be that way, and I think a lot of people believe it was to take their power, maybe their spiritual in with them. You guys may have a better idea than that. There's the highest one's up there, and if you notice these four eyes staring at everybody, kind of four pecked out eyes, and you say, well, how'd they get up there? And they think that there's a lot more moisture in this canyon thousands of years ago, and there was a lot of cottonwood trees, so that most of the ladders and scaffolding were built. It has not eroded down 10 feet. They did have ladders, especially the high gallery when you come in. That one's pretty high up there. There's a little figure here is very similar to the figurines excavated at a cowboy cave. The legendary cave in the upper end of Horseshoe Canyon that was excavated in the 1970s, and so much stuff came out of there. There's a 300-foot net that came out of that cave that was weaved and netted, lined and twined together, that they would spread across the whole canyon floor to catch small animals and stuff. And that plus the figurines plus the pottery and everything else in there was 7,000 years old. And they've actually excavated Clovis points and stuff from the Paleo period that goes back to 9,000 and 10,000 years. So this has been a well-traveled canyon for thousands of years by Native Americans. The dating is somewhere, like we said, on the first site coming in the canyon, up above in the rocks, there was a bow and arrow scene. You're talking Ute Indian, possibly Fremont, 1,000 years old material, to 3,000 to 4,000 years old on the testing down here, to possibly 7,500 to 8,000 years old on other stuff found that are very similar to the stuff that was tested that was that old. So some of this artwork may not all be the same age, and it could span maybe over hundreds of years.
Now, have they brought the lasers up here to see if there's the dated?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to answer something if I didn't know.
I'm just curious.
I had someone else talk about that.
So what did they use?
The red is iron oxide, hematite, mixed with a liquid, and it's indigenous in this area. And that's the only one that for sure has been tested accurately. There's some white here and there in some of the artwork, and they believe it's gypsum, like chalk. The chalk figures over there, that's illegal. No one does that anymore. Those were petroglyphs, and they, many, many years ago, even when I grew up, I sort of remembered that people would photograph and they wanted to see them, so they'd chalk them in. And it's totally illegal now. The Park Service left those so that we could show you not what to do. There's some pretty good ones here that aren't in, and look at this right here. See the antelope right there? I probably came on this ledge, 20 times before I saw those two. Look pretty good. They didn't get chalked in.
Yeah, they're extremely faded.
Yeah. Now the Barrier Canyon style rock art is the name applied to this rock art. Barrier Canyon rock art.